Hello, backyard bone reading. This is Bruce Lee. Chapter 4. Dolly, in a light jacket, her once thick and beautiful hair pinned in a thin plait at the nape of her neck, and her frightened eyes looking unusually large in her terrible, emancipated face, stood in the midst of the scattered things on the floor in front of an open chest of drawers from which she was taking something. Hearing her husband's steps, she stopped, looked at the door, and tried in vain to look stern and contemptuous. She felt that she was afraid of him and afraid of the coming interview. She had just been trying to do what she had tried to do a dozen times in the last 3 days. To sort out her own and her children's clothes, to take to her mother's, and again she could not make up her mind to do it. But now, as on the former occasions, she kept saying to herself that it could not go on like that she had to do something to punish and humiliate him, to pay him back even a little for the pain he had caused her. She still kept saying that she would leave him, but she felt that this was impossible. It was impossible because she could not break herself of the habit of looking upon him as a husband and of loving him. Besides, she felt that if here in her own home she could hardly manage to look after her 5 children, they would be much worse off where she was taking them. As it was, during the last 3 days, her youngest had fallen ill because he had been given some soup that had gone bad, and the others had gone almost without dinner the day before. She felt that it was impossible for her to go away, but deceiving herself, she went on sorting out their things and pretending that she would go away. When she saw her husband, she dropped her hand into the drawer of the chest as though searching for something. She turned around to look at him only when he had come up close to her. But instead of looking stern and determined as she had intended, she merely looked lost and suffering. "Dolly," he said in a subdued, timid voice. He drew his head into his shoulders and tried to look miserable, but he could not help radiating freshness and good health. She cast a quick glance over his fresh, healthy figure. Yes, she thought, he is happy and contented, but what about me? And there loathsome good nature of his which people love so much and for which they praise him. How I hate it. She closed her mouth firmly and a muscle started twitching on the right side of her pale, nervous face. What do you want? She said in a rapid, husky, unnatural voice. Dolly, he repeated with a tremor in his voice. Anna is arriving today. What do I care? She cried. I can't receive her. But you must, Dolly. Go away, go away, go away. She shrieked without looking at him, as though the screams were caused by physical pain. Oblonsky could be calm when he thought of his wife, even hoped that everything would come right, as Matvey expressed it, and he could calmly read his newspaper and drink his coffee. But when he saw her worn-out, suffering face and heard the despair and utter resignation in her voice, he caught his breath. A lump rose in his throat, and his eyes glistened with tears. My God, what have I done? Dolly, for heaven's sake. You see, he could not go on. The sobs choked him. She slammed the drawer to and looked at him. Dolly, what can I say? I just one thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Think. Can the 9 years of our life make up for a moment? A moment. She dropped her eyes and listened to hear what he would say, as though she were imploring him not to say anything that would prevent her from staying. A moment of infatuation, he brought himself to say, and he would have gone on, but at these words her lips tightened again, as though with physical pain, and the muscle in her right cheek began to twitch. Go away, she screamed more piercingly than before. Get out of here and don't talk to me of your infatuation. actions and your abominations. She was about to leave the room, but swayed and clutched the back of a chair to steady herself. His face widened, his lips swelled, his eyes were filled with tears. "Darling," he said, no longer able to restrain himself from sobbing. "For God's sake, think of the children. They've done nothing. I'm the one to blame. Punish me. Make me atone for my guilt. I'm ready to do anything I can. I'm to blame. There are no words to express my guilt. But, darling, forgive me." She sat down. He could hear her loud, heavy breathing, and he felt inexpressibly sorry for her. She tried a few times to say something, but she could not. He waited. "You think of the children, Steve, when you want to play with them, but I'm always thinking of them. And I know that now they are ruined," she said, apparently repeating one of the phrases she had been saying to herself over and over again during the last 3 days. She had called him by his pet name, and he gave her a grateful look and made a move to take her hand. But she recoiled from him with disgust. "I do think of the children, and I'd do anything in the world to save them, but I don't know how to save them, whether to take them away from their father or leave them with a depraved father. Yes, a depraved father. Tell me, do you really think that after what has happened, it is still possible for us to live together? Is it possible? Oh, tell me, is it possible?" She kept repeating, raising her voice. "When my husband, the father of my children, has an affair with his children's governess? But what's to be done about it?" "What?" he said in a miserable voice, hardly knowing what he was saying, and dropping his head lower and lower. "I love you. I hate you," she shouted, getting more and more excited. "Oh, your tears are water. Oh, you never loved me. You had no heart. No, no. I love you. I hate you. You are a stranger to me. Yes, A perfect stranger. She pronounced the word stranger, which was so dreadful to her, with pain and hatred. Thank you for your visiting here. See you next time.